Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. And just at the open there, quite a bit of strong selling on the open. Man, yesterday was a huge mess. Let's just start just for kicks and giggles with Bitcoin. You can see here on the chart, huge sell. I said something was changed. When I said that, I did not expect them to sell down to 8,000, but they did. Selling could be continuing. I don't know, but it's all pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So now to the real stuff. Yesterday, oh man, I can't even show you the 30-minute chart. Here is in the E-mini. We make this nice and big for you guys. So if you ever recall, yesterday we came out at 8 o'clock. Where is it? 8 o'clock. And there was some news, and we said sell. We sold. It wasn't quite going. Then Donald Trump was speaking. So that appeared to be part of why maybe the market was constrained, but we did get a good sell when he talked about China during his speech. So we took that profit right there. Then after he was done speaking, things really started going down, and there was a couple of big pieces of news. One of the big ones right here was, when around 10:30, I want to say, was it 10:30? Yeah, it was like right here, 10:17. Nancy Pelosi said that they're going to have an impeachment inquiry. And then here was when Donald Trump said that he will release the transcripts of the Ukraine conversation that is at issue here. And then here again was when Nancy Pelosi formally announced, I forget what the difference was. This was Nancy and this was Nancy. I forget what the difference was, but basically, a large part of the selling appears to be that impeachment. All right, now why? Well, impeachment is a huge disruption to the country, and the stock market views it very negatively. Not necessarily just because the stock market likes Donald Trump, but anytime that a president is being impeached, it's negative for markets, okay? So that's kind of what we got going on there. Treasuries, of course, if we come over here to the treasuries, obviously they're up quite big. Now they're selling really hard this morning. And here's the big catch, is that Nancy Pelosi is going to start an impeachment inquiry. Nothing has changed because they were already running an impeachment inquiry. Jerry Nadler, the head of the House Investigatory Committee, has been investigating for quite some time, and he's been calling it an impeachment inquiry. Now, for it to be a quote-unquote official impeachment inquiry, then they have to vote on it. The House has to vote on it, and the House has not voted on it. In fact, when you look at the whip count right now, it appears that if they were to vote today, they would not be able to get a yes. So they aren't doing it. So Nancy kind of tried to pull a fast one on everybody yesterday. She said that they're starting impeachment, but they're not filing articles of impeachment. Nothing has really changed. It was all just a big stunt for PR. At least that's what it appears like so far. We shall see if there is follow through, because now that they've done this, it's going to be very hard for them to do their investigation and then not vote to file articles of impeachment. That would look really bad. And here's the thing that I would say about all of this for the longer term, is that now that the Democrats have taken this line, it's basically like you're committed. And the thing is, I think one of the theories I've seen amongst Democrats is they say, well, we know that the Senate, there's no way that they're going to convict, but all we have to do is get all of Donald Trump's, violations out in the public eye, and voters will vote against him. No, it won't work like that. Sorry. If Donald Trump has done something wrong, then the people in the Senate will be obligated to vote to impeach him. And if you can't get the 2/3 majority necessary to impeach him, then this whole thing was a big waste of time. And that is the way that the American people are going to look at it. That's certainly going to be the way that the market looks at it. And if they don't successfully impeach him, then they are going to get creamed at the voting booth, my opinion. So I don't think what they're doing right now is smart, but it's probably going to continue to play out until the election, unfortunately. Okay, well, there was a good little further continuation and retracement now, and a lot of level 2 activity throughout the pullback. I don't believe that we have very much in the way of significant news today. Where is my did not open up everything? I guess I didn't open up everything. Awfully quiet today, by the way. Okay, so today's Wednesday. Oh yes, there are some FOMC members speaking. We can go and look at that. And New Home sells at 8 o'clock.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy.
I don't know why that was starting, but okay. The economic calendar is light today, but the political calendar has plenty. I don't know about that. Your Treasury says sanctions do not apply to parent firm Costco Shipping Corporation. That's cool. Jeffrey Cox says another election motion will be laid for MP shortly. Third time lucky, or will Boris be thwarted again? House to debate / vote on whistleblower resolution today. It doesn't matter. Oh yes, so this is another key, is that Donald Trump has said that he is going to release the transcripts of the Ukraine conversation that is getting so much attention. Democrats say it doesn't matter, that there's like multiple conversations and things like that, and they want the whistleblower report. And the reporting that we're getting, although the White House has not said anything, but the reporting that we're getting is that their White House is going to release that as well and make that available as well. So the White House doesn't seem to think that there's anything there, but does it really matter at this point? Does it? I saw this one, I think it was, oh, I forget who it was. It was a Republican, but he was anti-Trump and pro-impeachment. And he was saying, that the conversation in this specific Ukrainian conversation doesn't matter because this is about how Donald Trump has abused the presidency. I'm like, oh, okay, so specific allegations don't matter. You don't have to have actually done anything to have abused the presidency. It was kind of funny. Kind of a poor political line to take. But that just kind of shows you they're going to go through with this no matter what now at this point. They don't really have a choice. They're going to tick up at 18.5. German authorities raid Deutsche Bank beginning Tuesday in relation to Danske Bank.
YouTube Lucas morning.
Good morning. I probably missed my big long rant. Tehran has always believed in diplomacy. So then talk to them. That's something that I really don't understand is,
YouTube, Lucas, maybe it's more urgent than ever since elections are coming and if we wins agains could be harder.
yeah. I mean, my I would think that this whole nonsense that happened yesterday is helps Trump in the long run, but you never know. Like the thing that I find so crazy about the whole situation. No, we're not going to get
YouTube,
killed.
Lucas, is he asterisk?
Is he? The thing that I find crazy about this whole situation is that the Democrats are convinced that they have something and that they need to investigate and impeach. Okay. Don't actually have any information or evidence, and the administration is going to give it to them. Okay. So they're kind of making a bet here in a way. I think that the truth is that they're just so committed into this mentally that they can't see the fact that they don't really have anything. But they're going to go through all of that. They don't actually even know what's in there, and yet they're going to go through with impeachment, and they're going to cause this huge. It's a huge disruption to the country. That's what's kind of disturbing to me. That's why I'm saying, like, at least for me, I think that I'm not going to be the only person that thinks this way, but at least for me, my thought is you better, if you're going to take us down that path, you better get a conviction. Okay. That is a big disruption. A lot of people in the market's very upset yesterday. You're going to put us through all of that. It better be worth it. You better get a conviction. And if you don't, I'm kicking your butts out. We can't deal with that sort of stuff. We can't sit down and say that this is like should be allowed to be a normal thing. No. This should only happen when there is probable cause that something truly egregious happened worthy of kicking a president out. And if you can't get a 2/3 majority in the Senate to do that, and what is practically a 50-50 Senate right now, okay? If you can't get 2/3 in there, then it's not worth it. That's what I sound a little too passionate about this. Maybe I should focus on something else. But New York Fed accepts 75 billion of 91.59 billion in bids submitted at the overnight repo operation. The possibility of any meeting between President Rouhani and President Trump is zero, says Iranian official. Now, this doesn't make any sense to me. The whole, like, you have to get rid of sanctions before we'll even talk diplomacy is silly. It just doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. Yes, I think this person is correct. Elena Johnson, I don't know who that is, but at the same time, the idea that Trump thinks impeachment is such a misstep by Dems that he's welcoming it is bogus. His lawyers wouldn't be trying to thwart it if it was true. I think that's correct. I think that the administration understands that impeachment is a really huge disruption to the country, and that's why they're trying to get out in front of it today by releasing the transcripts and all of the other information. They want to bury this so that they can get back to the business of the country, is my impression. In fact, there was a story yesterday that Donald Trump called Nancy Pelosi about this and was like, let's work something out. Because I don't think that he wanted to deal with that. Like, he knows that, like, as soon as now that that's started, like, nothing happens until the next election, basically, which is quite sad. And the saddest part is that, it kind of undermines Donald Trump's negotiating position with foreign leaders too. So anything with Iran or on China trade, does this put China trade in limbo too? That would be really unfortunate for the markets, right? Well, that 18.5 did flip, but they're not hitting it.
YouTube Lucas, this also encourages Chinese in negotiations as well. They could easily pull in if that happens again.
Exactly. The only caveat to that is that my wife's coming down the stairs. It appears to me that China's economy is in a pretty bad shape, and that China kind of wants to fix this as well. So maybe it can only help. I mean, I think the thing is that if it was anybody else in China, but this Xi guy, he's not a good guy as far as I can tell. And he's, yeah. Anyways, hmm. Well, she quieted them down awfully quickly. I didn't realize we're within the opening range. That kind of makes this location a little difficult. Well, I'm glad they let us out. So I suppose we can kind of sit back and watch. I'm thinking, the last time that we had like really big moves, and then the next day, our read was really unreliable, and I'm kind of suspecting that already. You kind of detecting that a little bit? Anyways, man, I feel when I watch the meter, it sounds like I'm probably too quiet, but you guys keep telling me it's okay, so I'm like, okay.
YouTube Lucas, it's harder for me when there are no breouts and VP looks this way.
Volume profile looks this way. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of distribution above us, right? I think that we're probably going to form another node somewhere down in here. But you're right. And I think when I took that trade originally, I didn't realize that this was like right at the opening range. I mean, if they had bounced off of 18.5 and it sold there, then it might have been a different thing. They are showing pushing here. I don't know if they're going to succeed or what. So they did move up a bit more. In first, Iran says ready to accept changes to nuclear deal if sanctions lifted. Well, if the changes were that they have to give up their stockpile of nuclear material and dismantle their enrichment program, then I would be totally down with that. Something tells me that's not going to happen. Wonder note. Catching a hint of anything. Well,
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, Fed Evans speaking. New home
yep.
sales at 10 o'clock EST. Then Fed George at 10 o'clock.
So Evan is still speaking, huh? That was like
YouTube, J
early.
Constant. Hello Bitcoin holding 8K.
Yeah, well, it is for now. Unless I don't know what's going on in the Bitcoin market, but something changed, and I wouldn't want to be in. I wouldn't want to be in that. That's all I can say. You know, something's different. And the thing that's different to me is, as I mentioned earlier, is that the hash rate disappeared and we had a big sell, and the market appears to be clueless. Well, social media rather appears to be clueless about why. Let's go searching a little bit. Usually it's too early to catch anything, but there was a lot of stuff yesterday, you know.
YouTube, J Constant. I am scared I bought BTC at 12K.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, I've been saying the whole time that I wouldn't want to get involved in this market, right?
YouTube, J Constant. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But the problem remains that nobody seems to know what's going on.
YouTube, J Constant. But for me, $2,000 is much.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's like what? It's like 30% or something, right? 25%. So there was a push there. We had a stop run higher, I think. And that 19.5 looks weak and they're not hitting into it. So normally that would be a short right there. But you're not seeing actual trade going on. So making me cautious. And there was a gap too. Don't like to trade when it's getting gappy like that. But should be a short. So let's see.
Twitch, 432HZ woke. My nigga Seth.
Hey,
Bob
he's
Roskell.
He's back.
Twitch, 432HZ woke. What's up, dude?
How's it going? And up bright and early. Well, we're doing okay.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. Good boring morning grinning face with big eyes.
Yeah, it's a good boring morning. Exactly. It's
YouTube, J Constant. Do you think Palladium is a good investment for 5+ years? I will maybe buy a bar of it. Twitch, 432HZ woke. Wake and bake man beer mugs.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about, like, I really can't sit down and invest. And if it was a stock, there's a lot of things that we can go through with stocks.
YouTube, Lucas. Hi all.
But for a metal and as a long-term investment, I don't know. There's this whole thing that, like, I sent what was the big story on CNBC yesterday was that 50% of the rich are investing as though they expect a recession next year. So if we get a recession, then
YouTube,
metals
J
probably go
Constant.
up.
Palladium looks like the Bitcoin chart.
And then metals probably go up if we have a recession. And if we don't, they're probably going to go down. who knows what this market is going to do. So they are. Okay, 19.5 was where they weren't really trading back into it, though. So this tick up, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? Wake and bake. Well, I saw this thread on the r/BTC, or no, on the day trading subreddit. And this guy was saying that he would smoke pot before he would start trading. And I'm like I understand they would relax
YouTube
you,
Lucas,
but
how much longer can this bull market run honestly? YouTube J Constant, palladium tripled in value in a couple years.
well, so Lucas, remember my theory though, right? Which is that because we live in an era of such easy money, we have actually had multiple panics and bear markets in the past 10 years, and they have just never reached a point at which people would start calling for a recession. It can't happen because of the money injection, and because of the way that regulation and so forth is set up, we may never see those kinds of panics. Okay, like the sovereign debt crisis in Europe, that was a huge deal, guys. Okay, if that had happened in 1920, that would have been a depression. Okay, if that had happened in 1980, that would have been like a really bad, severe recession. But because it happened after the 2008 financial crisis, and our markets are so much better prepared to handle it, it was like a 20% decline in markets, and then everybody moved on.
YouTube Uzi Knesset. In my early days, I had considered that, talking a couple hits before trading. Take the edge off. But I think it would lead to hyper-optimism that could be detrimental. Lol.
Yeah, exactly. Like the pain, you've got to be able to feel it. It's just, I would love to see stats from somebody that's doing that. Because the whole thing is that pot, it impairs judgment. I mean, like, there's a reason that you're not supposed to drive on it, right? It impairs judgment, and I just can't imagine you want to trade during that. Same with
YouTube
alcohol.
Uzi Knesset. A lot of people got rich in the 80s in the pits on coke. Lol.
You never know.
Uzi Knesset. Ya never know. Haha.
Well, coke is different, right? Coke amps you up. Coke amps you up.
YouTube Lucas. So bull markets run for 8 to 10 years on average. Bears last 2 years average, statistically speaking. Even if markets became more efficient, I don't know, 20 years of bulls seems excessive.
But it's not a bull. Like, that's the thing. It hasn't been a bull. The last bear market was in 2015. You heard me. The last bear market was in 2015, and last year we had a bear market too. That's my take. And so as soon as the bear market is resolved, which would be trade war with China ends, then we are free to go on a new bull run. That's my position, is that we are in a bear market. We've been in one for over a year.
Morning. YouTube Uzi Knesset. Ooh, big guy in ZB at 62.13.
Let's reset my thing because I don't see it. Oh, yes, I do. And he just kind of shared.
YouTube Uzi Knesset 63.13. Sorry.
Yeah, there was a lot of volume between 12 and 17. But then it looks like it
YouTube Lucas, but we just made an ATH in S.
But we just made an all-time high in ES. Well, yeah, but that was after a bear market.
YouTube J Constant. The crisis ended in 2013. Most recessions comes in 20 years.
The crisis ended in 2013? Well, no, okay, so there was the 2008 crisis, right? And then in 2010, in 2010 we had the flash crash and a bad summer that year. And then in 2013 we had a sovereign debt crisis.
YouTube Uzi Knesset. Big volume punch at 62.31. Line in the sand right now. Shoulda bought that on the pop. Maybe all I'm offered today. Lol.
Then in 2015, before Donald Trump got elected, there was the taper tantrum, um, which was also a bear market in my opinion. And then since Donald Trump has been elected, we've gone through multiple quarters of bears because of trade. But you see what I mean? It's like the reason why they say that it's been a bull market the whole time is because we've never had 2 or more quarters of negative growth. But we have had several quarters of significantly disappointing growth. And during that whole time, money has been easy. And like I said, the regulatory framework is such that when these sorts of things happen, the banks aren't, they don't panic per se. Right? So there's something wrong with this chart. Because we traded into 21. Whatever.
YouTube, Lucas, I hope you are right so my Fiserv shares go higher, lol.
So if that is true, then we are in a situation where if they resolve the trade war, we can go higher. It's the same thing with the inverted yield curve indicator. If it's a prediction.
YouTube, J Constant. Okay, thank you for your clear explanation. By the way, oh no, BTC dropping again.
Are they selling it? With the inverted yield curve, if the curve inverting is people predicting a recession, because the curve has been so flat already anyways because of monetary policy, it didn't take very much for it to go inverted, and therefore it's not, the market isn't really predicting a recession. Now, the counter to that is maybe an inverted yield curve causes recession, and I would argue, and there appears to be, that just chronically low rates can cause slow growth. So, we could have slow growth for a long time. This whole bull market has been characterized by relatively slow growth, even though the stock market is going really great. And I say, okay, you're going to have a bear market. It's not going to fit the same qualifications as things have in the past, but it is a bear market. And then we're going to have another bull again. And so you kind of have to adjust your things. Like if your strategy was to put more money in at the bottom of a bear market and get out at the top of a bull market and that sort of a thing, you have to adjust your targets. The here when we just made that new high should have been taking profits. And if we have a really big fall down here, and I think that we could, then you're going to want to be buying again. Or at the very least, like the day that the trade war with China appears to be over and it's down in there, you get in or something like that, But the instrument calibrations that people have been using for the past 100 years aren't going to work anymore because the entire regulatory framework and banking environment changed. That's my theory. I wish that I was an economist and at a with a PhD at a university, and I could sit down and I could prove this sort of a thing with policy. And I know that I'm not the only person that has said this, but it's kind of hard to prove when it's only happening once or twice. So, but I think that what will happen is 20 years from now, people will say, okay, yeah, like it used to be that a recession was 2 or more quarters of negative growth. Now, it doesn't work like that. Not that that's particularly relevant to our situation today, right? Our situation today is how much of yesterday's move was over impeachment and how much of the move was over, poor consumer sentiment and overall negative sentiment. If it was purely about impeachment, then I say Nancy Pelosi is trying to pull a fast one on everybody and it'll
Twitch
retrace.
Dojo 2022. After reading Nassim Taleb's books, I believe that economists are overrated.
Yeah, that's probably true. Well, I mean,
YouTube, Lucas, that's scarier, when you can't rely on previous statistics because things changed so much. They could have changed for the worse and we don't know yet.
sure, totally. Yeah, you're totally right. And Dojo's right about economists too. Like the science of the economic science is an interesting thing because there are so many factors involved in an economy, and it's not something that you can run direct tests on. So the best that you can do is, run numbers on the past data, and maybe it will validate your conclusions. But
YouTube Ace Trades morning.
but in the end, you're going to be prone to curve fitting it, right? It's just going to play. It's just going to play into your previous bias. Good morning, Ace. And so you run into this thing
YouTube
where.
Lucas morning Ace.
So here's a really good example. It was this argument. We talked about this like last week, but there was this argument I was having with people on Reddit, and where I was saying, you want the money to be invested in places where it will
YouTube
grow
Ace
capital.
Trades at Lucas Howdy Bud.
This is all about allocation of capital in the end. You want to allocate your capital to places where it will grow your capital. And if you allocate your capital for more capital, for instance, into healthcare, and now would government-run healthcare allocate more? Well, they claim that it would actually allocate
Twitch
less.
Dojo 2022. The tech sector, NDX, used to be the pump and dump sector relatively speaking, and now tech has become blue chip.
Yeah. But anyways, if healthcare, that's consumption. Okay, that's not an investment. Generally speaking, most average Americans, they do not. They don't put their money into assets. Their house is like their one asset, and their 401k, and that's it, right? And if you give them money, most of that money is going to go into more consumption. Okay. Well, some economists don't see it that way. They think that if you give the people down at the bottom rung money, that
YouTube
is a benefit
Lucas
to the
at
economy.
Ace Trades just trying not to fall severely asleep. Only 3 hours of sleep last night. Shouldn't be monitoring markets. Sleepy face.
What were you doing? Only 3 hours of sleep last night. Just to have a hard time falling asleep, or you have drama? I messaged you on Facebook, but I never got a response yesterday. You should have that, like the Facebook Messenger on your phone or something. Or maybe if you want to do text, just send me your phone number on Facebook Messenger. Anyways, what was this?
YouTube Lucas. Sorry, Seth. I feel like I'm interrupting a conversation. Lol.
No, you're not. We talk about whatever you guys are going on. I mean, we talked about it before, right? They say that because something only counts towards GDP when you buy something. So when they go through and they do their numbers from their perspective, the thing that grows the economy is people buying stuff. Well, is it really? I don't think it works that way. My chart is messed up. This chart is messed up. If I come in here, I'm not receiving data. Reload all historical data. Because it came back on us quite a bit. Yeah. Is it even connected? It says it's connected. So so CQG demo is not working right now. which kind of sucks because that's what I was, you know. But I was saying up in here that that's normally short and we're just going to wait and see. So I guess it was. I'm going to close NinjaTrader. I think something's wrong with it because it's not closing. So I must have killed something. And now you guys are all quiet, so now I'm like, is something else wrong? Jigsaw reliable as always, though. It says suspend. Okay, now it's closed.
YouTube, Wimmer Kevin, NT8 at its finest lol.
Right? I mean, that one's weird because no indication that was anything's wrong. But yep, I would not recommend using NinjaTrader 8 as your only platform. There are some good reasons to use it, but if you're 100% dependent on it,
YouTube, Ace Trades, anyone know why the S&P is heading up so much?
Well,
YouTube, Ace Trades, at Lucas maybe don't pull the trigger today?
my theory, Ace, is that the market sold as much as it did yesterday in part because of impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump. And so I loaded it up and it's not loading the windows. Impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump, and the whole thing was a farce. Nothing has actually changed, and that move should revert a little bit. That's what I think is happening. Or I don't say that's what I think is happening. I'm really not sure. I'm not quite sure. But yeah. Well, I feel kind of blind without my other chart. And here I started the control center. It's there. And now I've got no workspaces.
YouTube, Wimmer Kevin, well it's a range. We broke yesterday's low and couldn't push trough. Now some trap shorties.
Okay. So did it just delete my workspace? Oh my gosh. NinjaTrader. Ninja! Verifying license. Workspaces. It doesn't see it. What the hell? Oh my gosh.
YouTube, Wimmer Kevin, haha I remember you telling me yesterday that they really made NT8 better.
They made it better, but what is workspaces?
YouTube, Ace Trades, getting a short signal at 2971.25. YouTube, Ace Trades, which it just broke through, never mind.
Okay, I'm going to try importing a backup file. Nope, doesn't work like that. How do you, or maybe you just copy it and then put it into workspaces like this, maybe?
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, 26 in ZB, make or break.
Is the low here? Okay, I put the workspace, copied the workspace in, and it's opening things back up.
YouTube, Lucas, you long there Uzi?
Okay. That's better. I feel better, guys. I feel a lot better now. I don't know what happened, but Ninja Trader just like completely
YouTube,
blew up.
Uzi Knesset, not yet. That's the price I'm watching. I wanna see whether or not it maintains.
The 26. Yeah, the 26. Right, because that's... Oh, 163 was the opening range high. The opening range low is 162.24 NZB. That's not helpful. But I suppose that was where there was volume and they couldn't really step beyond there.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, big chunky buy volume there. Wait to see who wins.
Feds Evans, wages are on good growth path, not outrageously strong.
Twitch, Cherry Chubs, started out in shares recently. From your experience, how would you say is the best way to expose myself in learning trade? Listening to your conversations and still can't seem to understand the overwhelming information crying face. Are there particular forums to easily find international information in general share markets?
This is a good question. So, you know what? There's a lot of forums out there. You know, I've kind of soured on the forums recently, and the problem that I found is that most of those places you don't actually get information, and really the best way to learn is to try and find another group of traders and just talk to them a lot. So, like coming here into this room and talking a lot. In terms of like the primer, I would always recommend is the No BS day trading course. It's like $80, I think, and it's a book with some videos. And when you watch that, you get the base understanding that you really need to understand reading order flow. But then you're gonna have to read it for a really, really long time, right? Because you notice a lot of what we're talking about is like, we've been in this market so many years, and these are the things that we've noticed or that we remember and we're talking about. And here are the prices that certain different people seem to think matters, and what we think we're seeing there and how we feel about it, I mean, the number one way to learn how to trade is always going to be to trade. So now, in terms of it, like, it might seem like overwhelming. A lot of what like 90% of what we talk about is just to fill time, right? So I wouldn't stress too much about that, right? Like what we were talking about earlier about recessions aren't as deep anymore, and that kind of screws up everybody's calibrations. That's good information to know, and I think that it can be useful to your trading, but is it directly applicable to like what we see in trading right here, right now? Not really. It's just understanding markets can always help you, right? The thing that you want to see here is, then this is the primer. And I think that we do this almost every day, but this is the primer. The blue column are limit orders looking to buy. The red column are sell orders looking to sell at specific prices. And the inside are people looking to buy and sell. And we can see imbalances between those four forces. Think of them as four forces, okay? The number of buyers and sellers is always equal, but sometimes the market buyers are willing to buy more than the limit sellers are willing to sell, or vice versa. And that's what causes us to move.
Lucas, blue versus red army.
Yep, the blue versus the red army. So what we're looking at right now, or for instance, Uzi is saying that 26 was an area that the blue army held, that they were willing to buy it there at 26. So if they push them out at 26 and start pushing into 25 aggressively, then these blue guys are going to start retreating. And that's basically what we're looking at, is we're looking for a spot where if we start trading beyond it, that people are going to start unwinding positions and we could move it a little bit. Okay. So that's the first part. And then the second part is I would look for a spot in which there is some indication of excess. So right here, we're getting 18,000 quotes here within this bar. We've been here for a little while, so maybe that's part of it. But that very often means that they've been trying to push it a certain direction. And when they do that, they create excess that causes it extremely likely to flip. Or sometimes you could get down, like if I was seeing it right here at 26 and I started to see that excess come in and I started to see some offers stack on here, then they're going to push it through 26. Well, they traded it down and it was 184 and it didn't take a whole lot of anything. But it's not holding. So no read yet. But if you start getting that push, then you start to run into this situation where, yeah, looks like they're going to trade down through 26. And then if they do, they could push quite a bit more because of the way that the imbalance is. Right. Another good example was like 2 days ago, was it? Yeah, 2 days ago here in the Treasuries, there was tons of selling and the level held. So then when we started moving up, all of that volume was basically people still in positions getting stopped out higher. And you can see that in the cumulative delta. That's what you're looking for. And that's like the gist of it. You just watch this DOM. You just watch it. That's all there is to it. Watch it 2 hours a day for as long as you can until you figure it out.
Twitch Cheery Chubs, very much appreciate it. Yeah, I've managed to pick up the basic economic finance functions, theories, and terminologies.
There you go. I mean, the thing that's so wonderful about order flow is that part that I just explained to you, that's like the only thing that truly matters. It's not like, everything that you understand about markets is going to help. Everything that you understand about, if we made a move, why did they make that move? Then you can interpret the order flow that you saw a little bit better. Okay. This is all contextual. But the truth is that there's a lot of people out there that are successful at trading treasury futures and they don't know squat about those things. So, you don't have to be like a neurosurgeon, right? Okay, so nope, they didn't. Okay, and they took 26 offer here. Think we got filled at 18?
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, almost baited me in. YouTube, Uzi Knesset, ooh, that was a nice little trick there.
So now that it's trading 25, you're still not convinced, huh? They kind of pulled it down, which would really make you think that, yeah, they're not going to hold the 26 and everything, but it also says that there was a little bit of trickery in making it happen, so they might still try and flip it. So that didn't
YouTube,
fill.
Uzi Knesset, almost baited me in long at that 28. I decided against making a move because I saw the time. YouTube,
gotcha.
Lucas, I feel 25 is more reliable, but it's going down and we are now heavily influenced by S timeframe wise.
Yes. Agree. See, this is doing something where it wants me to do something. Like they're trying to bait me into a trade to short it here on the breakout. Maybe it continues through. I mean, that was a good offer at 17.5.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, first downside daily target at 62.17.
Okay. So he does interpreting that as a short, as am I. What price did you catch though? That's kind of my question. So your risk reward here isn't very good. Kind of part of my problem. 18.5 would have been a great price. We were getting some outsides, but we were kind of having issues at the time, so. Okay. $9.24 back. A 5-year kind of doing. Sometimes you get this thing where the 5-year will slip, and then that price just doesn't.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, that's a POC target. I didn't catch the short. I was 2 buys almost getting tricked into going long lol. YouTube, Wimmer Kevin, so what are those 2 special columns in the S-DOM again? And on top, above 2,973, there was kind of a big number. YouTube, Uzi Knesset, busy asterisk.
So this number right here, these columns are like it's a buy and sell volume profile. So it's the same thing as this volume profile, but it's split out between market buys and market sells. And when you clear the columns like this one with this recycling bin
YouTube,
clear.
Wimmer Kevin, yep, that one.
Yeah, when you clear it with this recycling bin clear, then it will clear this out. So you can sit down and say, okay, we're in an area. I want to know where there's more buying and selling. Like you can see right here, look, there's more buying on the 29, 69, 25 top end. Seems significant. And then they were eventually able to break up and they're starting to form a new range. So it's kind of a little bit better for these larger instruments. It wouldn't really be very useful in treasuries, but it's kind of useful. But it's mostly there to fill up space for me. I don't read it too much. And then the number at the top is just like, okay, those are all of the buys in that location. Why doesn't it show me all the sells? I don't actually know what that number is. I guess I don't actually know what that number is. No, 17 not cooperating, and it's giving me another. It's interesting that ZB is so close to the low, but that 5 and
Twitch,
the 10 aren't.
432 HZ woke. I believe it's hard to do this if you don't have an open mind. Is that true?
Yeah, I
YouTube,
think that's true.
Greg Orlovsky, Trump tweet. YouTube,
Trump.
Greg Orlovsky, will the Democrats apologize after seeing what was said on the call with the Ukrainian president? They should. A perfect call, got them by surprise.
That was Donald Trump's tweet. I think that I wouldn't say it's so much an open mind so much as it is that you need to be flexible and humble. So I think some people have really open minds and they accept the dumbest ideas. And
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, they'll demand audio.
They'll get
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, they'll think the transcript is fake.
I don't think that there is audio though, right? And what I'm being told is that the transcript is not going to be like a perfect one-to-one thing. Because that's like the best they can do is like the notes that they took at the time or something. But you're right. They'll always move the goalpost. It was like I was saying earlier, this one guy was like, the Ukrainian transcripts don't matter. This is about something bigger. And I was like, okay, so like specific allegations of wrongdoing don't matter anymore. Like it really, the meme is really true. It's like, we're going to investigate you until we find out what it is that you did that was wrong. We don't have any evidence of wrongdoing, but we know you did
YouTube,
something.
Ace Trades, drop baby, drop.
Ooh, that E-mini did take a dive there, didn't they? That might just be a pullback, though. I don't know if that's terribly significant or not. You get those that's bleh. Sometimes you'll get these zippers and it'll like pop out for a tick and then go back into the zipper. It's actually quite common.
YouTube, Lucas, don't drop the baby dude.
No, I'm not going to drop any babies. We're going to get like one of those baby carrying things so that I can sit here and the baby can just sit, and I'll force them to watch the
YouTube,
order
Greg
flow.
Orlovsky, flexibility with trade direction per Seth's comment. Spend a lot of time protecting your account.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is that you see a very, very common in the trading space. You'll get people that'll come in and they'll be like,
YouTube, wrong ZH, drop. YouTube, Ace Trades, at Lucas, laugh out loud.
they'll be like, you know, fiat money isn't worth anything and we should go back to the gold standard. And, you know, anything that people say about that sort of a thing, they're like totally all over it and into it. And what you can have happen is you can be so open to ideas that you go in and you accept tons of garbage. And then when you start trading on garbage, you're going to be wrong, and you're not going to realize when you're wrong because of why and this and that. And so that becomes a real problem. So I wouldn't, that's why I say I don't feel like it's being an open mind, because to me, an open mind means considering and accepting ideas regardless of whether or not they have merit. But I think that the more of the key thing is you've got to be able to realize and accept when you're wrong about something. And the better you are at realizing when you've been wrong about something and adjusting, the better you'll do in trading. Boom, 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 boom. Let me turn the chat back on there. Still believe we're going to see at least one overnight high in the ES, waiting for the ES open, though. And then he says, Seth will wear the baby like a chest pack. It pukes all over his computer, shorts it all out, drains that stuff down. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. That is exactly what's going to happen. We'll sit here with the chest pack. You'll have the spit up thing and whatever. And the child will be, you know, exposed to the order flow from an early
YouTube,
age.
Lucas, face with tears of joy.
So that when he grows up, it'll all already be, you know, he'll have such a head start on everybody because he's seen it, you know, in the years when your brain is best at learning these things. It'd be fun. No, I probably won't. We'll bring the baby in a few times, but probably overall it'd be too much of a distraction, right? Okay, well, this price was wrong. At the very least. At the very least, this price was wrong. Evan sounds like he won't be supporting a cut unless the data turn lower between now and the end of October. Evan calls it a mid-cycle adjustment and says Fed now well-positioned, not as dovish as anticipated, not really dovish at all. And yet the Treasury market doesn't seem to be too concerned or affected. And it's a lot of just robots at 17.5 at the moment. I'm just thinking about it at the moment. Like, I don't like this trade. I'm wondering, it could come back down into me. I could just decide to puke at 18. I did not end up taking something in ES. I don't know. So there's a tick. Jeez. Yeah. So let's stay focused. I think I would still rather pick a short. Interesting, though, that they're above that 26 and ZB again, though. So they seem to be just giving us a really hard time today.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. Only thing kept me out was S open.
That's interesting. So would you still like to sell it?
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. I haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Are you still like to sell it, or has the fact that it's above 26 put you back into not sure what's going on? Some volume there at 18, they're buying it. This is not a good time to take a trade, though, with ES, like he said. Nigel Farage, as a matter of honor, Boris Johnson must go to the House of Commons and offer his resignation. Why? You know what? These British people, they have some really bizarre ideas about the way that their
YouTube,
representatives
Ace
should
Trades,
work.
2 min to open.
It's like, you just got made prime minister. Shouldn't you try to you know, stay in the job?
Uzi Knesset. Brain is flip-flopping like a fish. Book looks like it wants sell. Market sells seem hesitant.
There is something happening there at 18. That 18 to the 18.5, look at that. That's different. Something's changed. Somebody might be buying it up in anticipation of trying to hit the E-mini again. Greta Thunberg's alternative Nobel Prize. Okay. There's alternate Nobel Prizes? Or is that like they're saying that it's like a Nobel Prize, but it's not? It's not the Nobel Prize, it's the something else prize.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset.
Yeah,
For
it's
all
the
I know, a
something
strong
else prize.
S open could send ZP tumbling, so I'm in wait mode.
Yep. I think so. I think that when I took that trade down there, I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I know what I was thinking, but I should have only have given it like one tick of space. And honestly, I don't know why I didn't try selling like the 18.5.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. Pretty solid reference price though.
Yeah. I don't know, is it? Well, okay, so here they've come back down through it. So it's not really... The way that it's acting and it's not really respecting prices kind of says to me that they're more trading off of the other instruments. You know what I mean? Like if they're making a trade in the actual treasuries, then it's really respectful of a price, and there are some very obvious spots. But when it's in the E-mini and we're just trading off of correlations, price levels like basically don't matter at that point. Well, there was selling on the open in ES. but they're selling on the open every day these days. Like yesterday, they sold on the open, and then they ended up buying up, and then later they sold. Oil falls below 56 as Saudi output restored. I can't imagine any person, Democrat, Republican, Independent, coming out and saying, I think it's totally fine that a senior official from the United States, the commander in chief, go shopping for dirt on an opponent. Why not? Why not? I don't know. Why do Democrats have such a big problem with people going out and finding true facts on them?
YouTube, Dave H. Shout out my boy woke. Twitch, 432HZ woke. Beer mugs.
There you go. Listen, as long as you didn't do anything illegal in obtaining it and you didn't use coercion.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. Geez, I wonder how that makes the oil attackers feel. Cruise missiles and 10 suicide drones knocking out what? 5% of the world's supply, and you barely put a dent in anything.
Right. I'm pretty sure, like, when that oil, did you notice when the oil came up that first time, okay, there was a lot of people talking about oil, and we even had a couple of people come into the channel and we're talking about it, and now, like, you don't see it anywhere, right? Can you imagine how much money, how many retail traders just probably got completely wiped out by that whole thing? That's a hard trade. Okay, E-mini is buying now. As the treasuries move up as well. So, easy money, everything.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Cat Turd saying I said the trap Democrats took the bait. Yeah, maybe. I'm just saying, if you don't use like a quid quo pro blackmail sort of thing, which, you know, you didn't break some law, you can get any kind of information about your political opponents from any kind of source that you want. Don't tell me all of the sudden that Democrats are against mudslinging politics. Come on. Come on.
YouTube, Ace Trades at Uzi Knesset. Just wait till they get a nuke.
Right. Well, and it's kind of this whole thing they were saying either everybody should be able to have nukes or nobody should have nukes. No. I think that the countries that I like should be allowed to have nukes, and the countries that I don't like shouldn't be allowed to have nukes. Because I can do that. Well, I can't do that, but that's the way that it is right now, and I would prefer that it stay that way. And since the countries that I like have the nukes, they kind of get to set the, they kind of get to decide. So, that probably sounds like awfully dumb and crazy, but.
YouTube, Fuzzybid Bitcoin is dead back to 100 USD.
You think so, Fuzzybid? Well, my numbers say that they should go at least to 3,000, but by the time that they get back down there, we're probably going to have to rerun the
YouTube,
calculations.
Uzi Knesset, BTC that bad today? Lol.
Yesterday was pretty bad, Uzi. And here's the thing: is that everybody in the cryptocurrency market has no clue what's they're scared because they just lost 25% of their value. And they don't know why. It just went. And how many times have they gone below 10K and then bought back up? And for all we know, it's going to buy back up tomorrow. But they don't know why it moved. They don't know if there is something about the whole market has changed that would mean that they don't want to be in it
YouTube,
anymore.
fuzzy bid, nah, don't think 100 USD, but 3,000, 5,000 possible.
Yeah. So my indicator says that the lower end is 3,000. But if they get down to there, we're going to have to rerun the calculations. It's possible that blockchain activity may decrease in that time and that the 1,000 might be possible again. I felt, because when we were down at 3,000, we were like, it was overbought. So if this whole thing was fake and it's kind of looking like it is, and then that whole thing retraces, I really don't think that 3,000 is going to be the bottom. But you never know. Could be a double bottom. We'll see. But the bigger thing is that I'm still of the opinion that the majority of this bull market that we've had this summer in Bitcoin is due to Tether. And until the Attorney General investigation is complete and Tether is put out of business, I would not recommend being in Bitcoin. That's my opinion on Bitcoin. And by the way, welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming in and saying something. Okay. So they're hitting into 18 and they're pushing the 26 again, but I didn't get a signal up there. Now, if it is a down day today, you might not get a signal on those peaks. So tough call. And 26 at this reference price here, 26 is still
YouTube,
not
Uzi
telling us
Knesset,
anything.
ZP taking her cues from S and it's annoying lol.
Yeah. Well, ES so far looks okay bullish. Okay. Nope. I have not gotten a really good fill in a few days. You notice that? Like it's always been, it'll go back and forth a ton and then finally it will go, and it will even go against me a few. I miss the days when I would take that trade and they wouldn't be able to make 18 go bid again, Good grief. Saudi Minister of State for Foreign Affairs says we are in consultations with our friends and allies about the next steps to take after Aramco attack. Well, the E-mini did take a little turn there. That's not right. So now as they were down ticking into 18.5, I'm getting an opposite signal.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, S low volume.
Yeah. Can I get it? He's still watching the ES Ace? They've been moving up. Wondering if up out there on that peak that he would have gotten a short. Do I see? I don't see. I don't see a very clear. I don't see a super clear. It's turned in ES, or that there was a trade there in ES. So I don't know if I could take that one on my own. Okay. Now I'm seeing it in the 30-year. Question I haven't seen answered. When did Trump Rudy efforts lean on Ukraine begin? Rudy was talking about it in May, coincidentally. Shortly after Biden entered the race, any activity before then? Can I get a fill at 19.5? I would be so happy. Here's the legislation that's likely to suffer from the impeachment inquiry, according to Evercore. Guess I want to see this. Prescription drug pricing legislation was likely to be watered down or perhaps not at all. So yeah, we'll probably not get prescription drug. Okay, cool. Filled. So this right here so far. Okay. I don't know if you're still there. I forget who it was that we were talking about this earlier.
YouTube
But
fuzzybid damn crude just keeps on dumping lol. The whole Saudi stuff was a hoax.
well, I wouldn't say it was a hoax, but market panic. Sometimes the things retrace. So the thing was, remember the thing was, how quickly can you figure out that you're wrong? Well, it took me 3 trades to say, okay, I'm wrong.
DLive Burek _ Reese 40. Hi.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for watching on DLive. Thank you for clicking on, even though there probably was 0 people watching on DLive. But no, we saw a signal and we said, well, this has been wrong 3 times, and we saw a signal long and it was not behaving correctly, so we switched and it worked out for us. And the E-mini is selling. I wish I could have taken that in the E-mini, but I wasn't getting the same signal. In fact, I'm getting a signal now, perhaps that this downside is overextended. So caution on there. So if the E-mini pushes through this, actually they did. They did push through. So now that the E-mini pushed through, this could be like on, like Donkey Kong. Like I don't really feel comfortable doing this at 29. You remember my trading in the E-mini is not as experienced. So I haven't seen this situation, but the theory is could go short here. Like, let's just say 29.67, okay? Evans, repo issue could be signed. The balance sheet is tighter than anticipated. Could be a sign that the balance sheet is tighter than expected. One of the Democrats' challenges is finding an overarching message and sticking to it. This was a complaint in the Dem caucus yesterday. Rank and file Dems are concerned that they aren't articulating good reasons why they're impeaching Trump. One of the leadership judiciary challenges here is to latch onto a message and a messenger and carry it through what is expected to be a long and bruising process. Some have suggested that enumerating concerns about national security should be front and center. I just don't see it, guys. If you went to Ukraine and you said, give us dirt on Biden or we're not going to give you military aid, then certainly that would be a problem. Okay. You would have a very, very hard time proving that that's what they would do, because you're going to make it all kind of, give yourself plausible deniability at every step of the way. Okay. But if you go to Ukraine and you try and get information without doing something that jeopardizes national security, of course, that's fine. That's fine. Democrats are trying to make it sound like that it's a crime to receive that information. They've been doing that the whole time, and it's not. And in the long run, I don't think the public will buy it, because what's going to happen is this information is going to take down Joe Biden. And then at that point, they're going to say, well, it was a good thing that Donald Trump did this, right?
YouTube, Algo Lover, GM winking face, how's life, thinking face.
Oh, it's, I've had some difficulty today. So now he's pushing it again. Is it going to push through the top? The E-mini sure is acting like that. That's what they want. A few orders got squeezed out at 20. Not seeing any changes here.
YouTube, Algo Lover, 8:04 a.m. Algo Lover, if sellers maintain their offer below 2,985.25, then 2,949 target. If 2,985.25 goes bid before that target trades, then anticipate squeeze higher, nerd face. YouTube, wrong ZH, haha BTC.
It's funny, everybody coming in and looking at Bitcoin and finally going like, well, okay, something happened there. So I've been saying now for like 6 months, like, don't buy it. How long has it been there above 10K? So for how long have I been, how far back of a time period have I been like, if you listened to me, you would have saved money? So it's been frustrating to me, because I put this chart out every day on my Patreon. And what I've noticed with my Patreon, okay. Hold on. Sorry. Market interrupted my thought there. Okay, cool. The iceberg there, and I was getting a push. That means I got to get out. And the E-mini was getting a little bit too dramatic, so I've got to take a step back and watch it here for a second, okay? So what I've noticed with my Patreon is that the number of subscribers that I get in my Patreon is very correlated to how popular Bitcoin is in general. So if there's a lot of people interested in trading Bitcoin, then there's a lot of people willing to pay for the Patreon. And during this whole year, it has been low. It has been low. And I thought maybe it's that, people want to buy Bitcoin and my indicator says not to right now. And that's why they're not getting into it. But no, it is turned out when you look at the blockchain activity and the retail activity and everything else like that, there's just not new people coming into Bitcoin. And so I'm sitting here like, what does it got to take for me to get more Patreon subscribers, Because I would appreciate that. Because I'm a greedy a-hole is what it really comes to. What it really comes down to. I would love to make, $5,000 a month from my Patreon. Frankly, I think that what we provide from that Patreon, the data that you got, is worth that much. But there's not enough people that are interested in it. So then I'm like, well, maybe I should start branching out into some other things, because it might be a long time before Bitcoin is like, in a place where that can actually make money again. Well, it makes money. It's just not as much as I would really like. I don't know. So I got out at 20 and they're down a tick and they're pointing the other direction. Should I go short at 19.5? Should I buy the E-mini? I think that's what I should do. We'd have to wait. I'd have to wait. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Uzi says, I need my money more than you do. Like, here's the thing. Like, something that really bothers me about a lot of the Patreons out there is a lot of the Patreons are like, hey, I make this YouTube channel. You should give me money so that I can continue to do. So really what you're doing is you're like being public television, right? You're a public television station, and then you ask for donations once a year. That's what most Patreons are, right? That's not a sustainable business model for YouTube channels.
I want to see BTC at $1. I am not sure why. Face with tears of joy.
Listen, hey, Ron, I totally get how you feel. Like, just think about it from my perspective for a second, right? Here you have this indicator. You think you're a brilliant genius. I mean, I know it sounds dumb for me to be saying that stuff, and it feels dumb for me saying that, but it's worked so well. It's just undeniable at this point that we have something in Bitcoin that is really effective and is worth potentially millions of dollars.
Uzi Knesset. Oh, I get it. Lol. Patreon is gym membership approach. Lots of people give small sums of money every month or video and forget about it on a long enough timeline. Lol.
That is exactly
YouTube,
what that
Josiah
is.
Gregory Mantaring. Good evening from Philippines.
Hey, thank you, Josiah. Thank you for popping in. No, Uzi, that is totally it, right? So think about it from my perspective. I got this thing and it works amazing, and then this bull run comes out that says that the indicator says is total nonsense. And then you have to sit and say that you shouldn't buy it, and it keeps going higher for 6 months. Over 6 months. Holding that, right? And meanwhile, all of these people are buying it. And now finally today, they start moving back down. So only now today am I like kind of vindicated. You're like the dude who predicted the housing market crash. Exactly. It's only like today that I'm vindicated, So yeah, I'm looking at Bitcoin and I'm like, sell that. Yes. Ooh, it feels so good. Sell that stupid scam. Let's get back to a price where it's reasonable. And all you people that have been doing this, and we've told you a trillion times why it's a problem, And now reality is finally hitting the fan, and I'm sorry if you lost money, but you got what you deserved, because I did everything that I knew how to warn people that this was a bad location to buy. And, but we should moderate that just a little bit, because we could say they could totally buy again tomorrow. We don't know. But my opinion is that until we're down to like 3,000, I would not recommend buying Bitcoin. So yeah, it's true. A lot of people, it's like a gym membership. You give them money every month, and then they forget about it because they don't check the Patreon, and it's taking $5 out every time. And they go, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. And then eventually they realize that they don't want it, and they stop contributing. So, but that's not what I do. Okay. Like, that's the thing that bothers me, is that it seems like that's what all the YouTube channels are doing. And like, that's the way the industry is going. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good direction for the industry. So I say, you've got to be providing something through your Patreon. So really what you're doing is your audience is your YouTube channel, and your Patreon is selling some additional service to your YouTube channel. Okay. So that's what we do, is we provide this chart, and it's worth a lot of money. Now, the problem is that most of you guys that come in here and watch every day and are really, really my best friends right now, I feel like, of course, I have a lot of real life friends, and I really like them too, and people that I've known for a very, very long time. But you guys, you come in here and you chat with me, and you trade with me, and you go through this gauntlet of trading with me every day. That means a lot, right? You guys, my best friends. And but most of you don't care about Bitcoin. So I'm sitting here like, well, what are some... So the thing one is, well, I probably need to attract more Bitcoin people. But do I really want to? I don't want to become a crypto channel. That wouldn't make much sense. Maybe I could make a separate channel that's just for cryptocurrencies. That's not a bad idea. Maybe I could make a separate channel that's just for cryptocurrencies. But the other hand is that I think, okay, what I really need to do is I need to come up with some things that I could sell for you guys that would be more useful to you. So like the indicator. So I think that we're going to put a package of indicators with the stats and everything, and put that together for you guys for like a one-time fee. I think that would be great. Maybe we'll do some things like that. Because like, I don't know. The reason I feel motivated about it today, good you didn't step in front of the ES train. Yeah. Well, I said it turned a little bit, didn't it? But now it's going lower. I still actually think that I want to buy the E-mini, but I'm just waiting to see if my indicator actually ever says to do it. And he says that the target is 49, which is like, 13 points away. So maybe we wait until that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the reason why I think I feel motivated today is because I was just looking at things, and like there's so many. Oh, okay, what just happened? Dang it. New home sales. Oh, geez. New home sales 713 versus 658. I don't think that's what caused that. Well, let's just let it run here. Nope. That's the target if sellers go, yeah. Was that? I mean, it must have been, because it did happen like right at 8. But I didn't catch the polling. Did it poll? I didn't know. There's no polling. It's a little weird, huh? The transcript is out. I do not see that. The transcript is out. Okay. So why is the e-mini freaking out about the transcript being out? Is that really justified? I don't know. I saw plenty of order flow signals there to say to go long. So, okay, now they're stacking at 21. Okay. Shit. Okay. So you see that big order there? I could have gotten 21, but I saw that big order, and that was get out because they're messing with us. Okay. Transcript of Trump's call with Ukrainian president shows him offering U.S. assistance for Biden investigation. Fox, Inspector General report on whistleblower revealed political bias in favor of Trump challenger. So that piece of news might have been nothing. I'm still not. It's still not actually getting something in the e-mini that tells me I can buy it though, and I certainly wouldn't want to buy it after that. AP source Watchdog believed Trump Ukraine call could be a campaign finance violation. He's wrong. Guys, listen, pay attention. I'm going to mute you guys for a second. Okay, pay attention. It is not a campaign finance violation. Here is why they say it is a campaign finance violation and why they're full of shit. And I'm quite frankly, I'm going to get a little passionate about this because I keep seeing this. We've been seeing this for a year and it's not true. They are misapplying the law. So let me explain. Here is the law and why we have it. The law is that if you provide a service to a campaign, that is considered an in-kind contribution to the campaign. So, for instance, let's say that you have a service that polls people, and you say, hey, you know what? We'll do some internal polling for you, okay? Normally, I would charge other people for the internal polling, but because I like your campaign, we're just going to provide this service to you for free. That is an in-kind campaign donation, okay? And what happens is you have to report that because there are limits on expenditures and things like that. And there's kind of all this gray stuff about, well, if they're a volunteer and if you're volunteering and you're doing work, then that's work that's going to go far beyond, what you would make. Far beyond what the contribution limits are, right? But the whole point of it is that they don't want you to be able to contribute more than the allowable limit through in-kind contributions. Okay, so an in-kind contribution is anything of value. Okay, now that's an important phrase. Why anything of value? Because you have to be able to attach a value to the service for the reporting purposes to see if you are contributing more than the allowable campaign limits. Okay? So, if Ukraine gives you information about a political opponent, is that an in-kind contribution? Is it a thing of value? And people will say, of course, it's valuable, so it is a thing of value. It is not a thing of value. How much is that worth? Does Ukraine regularly give people dirt on political opponents? What is the charge for that usual service? It is not. And so the information that we're talking about, the thing getting information from a foreign entity is not an in-kind contribution. Okay? So if you, a person, and you're a U.S. citizen, let's say, and you spoke to the president and you said, hey, I know that Joe Biden, he raped me when I was a kid or something like that, okay? Did you just give Donald Trump an in-kind contribution? No, it's total nonsense. Okay. Because if it was, then wouldn't like any kind of help that you give a campaign be like if you just spoke to Donald Trump, you said, hey, people here in my state, we're really concerned about this issue. That's what you should talk about. Then is that an in-kind contribution to Donald Trump? Like, could anything that you say to him in a casual conversation be considered a campaign contribution? No, it's total nonsense. All right. This interpretation of the law is bullcrap. And frankly, if anybody tried to take that to a court, they would get dismissed. I don't even think that it would go to a jury or anything like that. Like, it would be dismissed. Okay. And now, because it's a foreign entity, it doesn't change. The foreign entity is not giving an in-kind contribution. The Russians, the Ukrainians, they can tell the Donald Trump campaign or Donald Trump anything they want about anybody. It's not a violation. It just isn't. And they're saying that it is. They're wrong. So here Greg says Justice Department found no violation. There you go. So we moved up and now we moved back down because people are trying to interpret what it means. The transcript showed that Mr. Trump, before asking Ukraine to examine actions by Mr. Biden's son, reminded Mr. Zelensky that the U.S. sends security aid to Ukraine. I will say that we do a lot for Ukraine, he said. Sure, that's fine. I don't think that's a problem. If he said anywhere we read it, anywhere we can read it, I don't have a link yet. The White House is tweeting now, as President Trump promised, here's the full, oh, here it is right here. I got it for you. I'm going to post it in Discord. I'm going to post it here for you guys in YouTube as well. That's funny. So what did we just learn from that URL right there? The White House website is a WordPress website. Unclassified. It's a couple of pages. I'm not going to read it. Not out loud to you guys because we're watching this. Holy shit. That's not what you want to have happen. No. So is the mini going to recover? They look like they might be. This is going to be a really flaky trade. Okay, now they're hitting into 14.5. Look at that big order sitting down there at 12. Well, that one has been there for a while. Here comes the first CB target, which is 17, Uzi points out. I would like to make money on a short here today, if we could, because it's a down day. That'd be kind of funny if the profitable trades today were all longs. Okay. So that's not encouraging. We're gonna jump out of that. We're still 3 ticks up. You know what? And look, it's gonna go through. Oh, the E-mini did give me something, but it was at the top there, so it's still not a long. I think that they're actually really likely to go to fall down. So yesterday's point of control was at 14. The call quickly devolves into the president pressing for an investigation of his political rivals and endorsing an apparent conspiracy theory. He seems to suggest Hillary Clinton's private email server is in Ukraine. Okay, whatever. I don't think that's a problem. I don't think it necessarily makes him look good, but I don't think that it's a campaign finance violation or a breach of law. I'm going to put a caveat on here. The one source of information that has been really that really knows what he's talking about. He's a lawyer. He deals with impeachment. He understands campaign finance law, and he has been right on these issues from the beginning. Mr. Dershowitz, you knew that's who I was going to say, right? Mr. Dershowitz. If Mr. Dershowitz came out and he said, well, this is a violation and he should be concerned, then of course I will. Then I'm wrong. Okay. Well, darn. I don't like that. Need to wait for a better spot. I kind of jumped the gun there. And Elena Johnson totally told reliably by source who has seen a transcript of the call that it isn't likely to live up to the expectations many have, consistent with some previous reporting. Donald Trump Jr., are you saying the Democrats started an all-out move towards impeachment without even seeing the transcript? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. But it's not like the transcript is like positive towards Donald Trump, but I don't think that it shows a breach of law. I'm seeing some buying at 16.5. Seems like some people still kind of nervous here. Oh, and is the mini finally giving me my long? Is it finally giving me my long? They did not make that target. Okay. Would want to see more than that. Buyers hold their pullback above 075. Then 130.29 half. If 07 half breaks, well, that's so far down there that I can't consider that one. Trump, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son that Biden stopped the prosecution. A lot of people want to find out what about that. Whomsoever you can with the attorney general would be great. He didn't do anything wrong. I don't think there's anything in this. This is actually watching the market turn around here over this is kind of funny. It sucks that I haven't been able to make money off of a sell in treasuries though. Okay, that's it right there. No. Okay. I'm gonna try it. Hands off. Treasuries kind of suggesting that they were going to sell at 16 there for a moment, but then they didn't actually do it. Doesn't sound right. My audio interface is going. I think it's going to be time for a new microphone soon, guys. Oh, let me turn the text to speech back on. Yeah, so the one I was saying there earlier
YouTube,
was
Algo Lover, thumbs up face with tears of joy.
You always say that it's so far down or up. Yeah, but Algo Lover, usually it is. Like, the chances of that target in ZN trading before I'm done are extremely low. You know, there would have to be like a huge piece of news for that to happen. That's all I'm saying. So this last swing up was around 96, 69. Okay. So here again, if I get 50, I will take it off for her. Anyways, I was saying one of the reasons why I was feeling a little motivated.
YouTube, Algo Lover, they don't trade based on your hours, face
Yeah.
with tears of joy.
Unfortunately, they don't. You're right. No, it's like this microphone is going out, and there were so many things I was like, we could improve the stream this way and this way. They're not really necessarily they're not investments really. Like these things, like I could get a new microphone. I don't think that it would make the stream, it would be nice to have, but it's not like it would make the stream more popular or anything like that. So it's not really a good investment, right? But it's like, if
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, Trump on TV.
we had more time to work with, to get a nicer microphone. I saw this microphone that was like an old style news kind of microphone. I was like, that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool. But no, probably not. Maybe someday though, huh? So spread around the Patreon link. Spread the link for the YouTube, Of course, if you're not already subscribed, there's just a couple of new people today. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. Give the video a like. And yeah. Maybe someday we can get the cool news microphone. I mean, they're kind of pushing the top there, but then they kind of back off. You see that? Who wants to do it? So you say he's on TV right now. So the White House version of the conversation is that the President of the United States asked Ukraine to investigate his leading political rival and then offered the help of the U.S. Justice Department. Come on. So that right there is not a positive development for me, but it's still holding. I still don't have a link for Donald Trump speaking. Let me try and find it on YouTube, okay?
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky, at UN not discussing the transcript yet.
Okay, here's CBS News.
Don't have anything. Today, Venezuelans are starving, and they're dying from lack of
So he's just giving a speech.
Help. According to UN Human Rights Commissioner Maduro's Cuban-trained death squads have murdered up to 10,000 Venezuelans, and they think that number is extremely low. Citizens since 2018. That's over a very short period of time. These atrocities are an outrage to all and everything that we hold dear.
YouTube, Algo Lover, S2949 still valid, as long as we are under 85.250K hand.
Venezuela. We will stand with the Venezuelan people every single day.
It's still telling me that it's buy at least for a swing.
This horrible and brutal oppression. They will be freed. It will happen. Our first objective is to ensure a peaceful and constitutional transition, paving the way.
Look at how many
for
contracts traded there in ES.
That's why we at the United States and in the United States are doing everything we can to isolate Maduro and his cronies. Over the past year, the U.S. Treasury Department has imposed very tough sanctions to prevent Maduro and his enablers from accessing the U.S. financial system. Last month, I issued an executive order to completely freeze the assets of the Maduro regime in the United States. Our sanctions have been tightly focused on closing down every avenue by which Maduro sustains his criminal and totalitarian rule, and he has been vicious, he's been corrupt, he's been as bad as you get. At the same time, we have undertaken significant efforts to ensure that the Venezuelan people
So there's a new slightly higher
access
swing.
to food, medicine, and other humanitarian supplies,
Couple of
despite
people
the
stopping
regime's
out.
efforts to stop aid from coming into Venezuela. They are making it very, very hard to get aid into Venezuela. We are getting aid into Venezuela, but it's a very difficult thing. You would think, frankly, that would be to their benefit to let aid get in instead of letting people die from lack of medicine or food. But they don't make it easy, but we get it in anyway. We call on Maduro to immediately allow his life-saving humanitarian aid. This has to be allowed to come into Venezuela.
YouTube algo lover trapped a few on the dip to target area, but we'll see shortly what's what face with rolling eyes.
Unfortunately, a few countries outside of this hemisphere continue to enable
They don't have enough
this
to get down there right now. If they're really going to go down to that 49, they're going to have to make another move up and then go down
The
later.
most significant factor propping up the Venezuelan regime.
Now
is
that
the
move up,
communist
maybe that could be
dictatorship in
enough,
Cuba.
but
Maduro allows Cuba to
a little
plunder
skeptical about that.
Venezuelans' oil, raid its
I think
wealth,
that we
and
could
rob
get
its
back up to
people.
like the 69 area.
Venezuela's oil is
I think
at
that
a
I
low
want to
point.
put this here.
Not much is being taken out. Not many people are in there because of the dangers involved. But nevertheless, there's some money coming out, and it goes into Cuba. He's allowed thousands of Cuban agents to infiltrate Venezuela's security forces and other institutions. In other words, Maduro
Quite
has
frankly,
sold
I'm
out
not
his
sure if the
nation
target matters,
to a
right?
foreign dictatorship, and it has been that way a long time.
Because we just had news just kind
Civilized
of
world must
usurps
pressure the Cuban
everything.
regime to leave Venezuela immediately. The United States is ready to support a democratic transition government, and we know that our partners around the world.
All right, you're listening to the President of the United States there at the United
YouTube
Nations.
algo
making
lover
some
waiting on
comments
that
there with some
CN
of the
dip to stop
leaders,
out a few before the
of Latin
potential
American
trade higher
countries.
face with rolling
Let's
eyes.
keep an eye on what the President is doing and saying. If he takes questions from members of the press, we'll go back to it. But let's get to the breaking news right now. The unclassified now report transcript of that July 25th call with the President of the United States and the leader of Ukraine. CBS News Chief Justice and Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues is outside Justice Department headquarters in Washington. He got a first-hand look at the 5-page transcript.
YouTube algo lover targets
initially,
always
even
matter.
before
My
it came
friend
out.
grinning
Jeff,
face.
break it down for us. What do we know?
Well, listen, we didn't have a
Yeah.
lot of time with the
As far as when a piece of news
YouTube
comes
algo
out,
lover CL face with rolling eyes.
I'm just saying if you're saying we're in a short and then this is my downside side target, and then a piece of news comes out that's exceptionally bullish for the market, and I'm not 100% sure if this piece of news is exceptionally bullish for the market or not, but if it does come out, then your downside target doesn't matter anymore. Well, maybe they're going to go and get me. Oh, not quite. I maybe should have taken the, when it got to, no, it never quite got to 20, in fact. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I have anything that says I should do anything here. So I think I just sit on it, I guess.
YouTube algo lover. News algos have their place, but this algo is the big dog. Smiling face with sunglasses.
You don't think that guy kind of sits down back and says, well, the situation has changed. That's a lot of volume trading there in ES. In the main one here in the micros is it's not a lot, but over here on this one, look at them trade that back and forth all over the place.
YouTube Greg Orlovsky. I can't trade this.
No. So when the initial news came out and I made that one on the long and then I got out and I could have taken that short too. I tell you what, those are the best order flow reads you're going to get sometimes. This spot down here at 16 is maybe a little different, but those are situations where the market gives you like obvious trades. That stack 3,000 on the DOM, buy that shit. Easy trade. McFly. Wish I had taken it short. Oh well. I wish I hadn't have taken those two losers too. Trying to short it. Whatever. It comes out to nothing in the end anyways. And, before all of this, we had difficult trading. So, can't kick myself too much.
YouTube, algo lover. If a level holds, then its target is valid until it trades. A break of a level changes things. Thinking face.
Well, I think that the probability of your break of a level is pretty high. If they actually decide to buy here. I don't know. It's kind of funny. The news came out, right? It came out around 8 o'clock. They sold hardcore for a bit. They sold
YouTube,
hardcore and
algo
then they
lover.
bounced
Like this,
up.
for example, 10:05 a.m. algo lover.
Pull back.
CL if sellers continue to hold offer below 55.95, then 55.50 target. A bid back above 55.95 before continuation lower, then anticipate squeeze higher nerd face.
I don't. Let me approach this from a different direction. There is nothing, literally nothing out there that works all the time. Okay? You gotta know when there's a situation where your edge doesn't matter anymore. Right? I'm just saying. I don't know if this piece of news is big enough, okay? Let's do a different example. If China came out and said we're going to sign a trade deal with Donald Trump tomorrow, you buy it. Your target doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what number you have out there or some back testing probability, yada 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 bullcrap there's nothing like that has ever happened in the history of ever. It doesn't matter. If they came out and said that we're signing a trade deal tomorrow, you buy. Period. End of story. Easiest trade in the history of ever. And none of your levels matter. That's a better example. You get what I'm saying? There's a situation when the edge doesn't matter. News is usually the catalyst for that sort of
YouTube,
thing.
algo lover. Now, if 55.95 goes bid first, then the call changes. If not, then 55.50 remains valid target. Okay hand.
Yeah. Oil is a different thing. I think oil is probably going to continue to go and retrace all the way back to the 55 even. You have a 55 target, but I think longer term that oil is pretty likely to go to 55 even at some point. Okay, so now they're testing the high end of the range again. If we could get up here. Well, they still haven't traded 29, 65, 25. They know. They're like, well, that's long from 29, 61, 25, so we can't trade that. Okay. So they breached it. Treasuries not quite going. Did
YouTube,
they go for? No, they didn't.
Lover. You've seen them play out, but seem like a naysayer now faced with tears of joy, but no issue with me. Okay hand.
Oh, I've seen them play out, but I've also made money trading against them, right? Because on my time frame, they don't matter. If I was swing trading, I would probably would totally put my. I would really want to know the specifics of how it works, but if I knew the specifics of how it works and I was able to go and backtest it myself, I would probably set my targets at those spots if I was swing trading. But for these kinds of trades, it's not this kind of time frame. It's like, look, we could buy back up to 29.69 and then come back, and it's not even gonna matter, Like this whole buy thing here, it's a pretty good buy. I'm liking the way this is developing. I'm hoping that I'm going to get my target. Doesn't invalidate what you said, right?
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, 6205 on deck. YouTube, Algo Lover, no doubt, plenty ways to skin the market cat face with tears of joy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm really happy about that trade. Made $40. I need 10 more to reach my goal. 10 more to reach my goal, folks. And the treasuries did go lower. I would have liked to have short when we were like at 18, but I was more concerned on the E-mini trade because right now
YouTube,
I'm not
Algo
going to
Lover,
trade the
LS,
treasuries.
ZN dipping. Thinking
Yeah.
face.
Right now I'm not going to trade the treasuries live, but I am taking those trades in the E-mini live. And that's why when things get a little hairy, I start to ignore the treasury and do the E-mini, even though I probably have a much better read. Like I didn't think that 160 was going to be the low of the day. And I would like to be able to go, I don't know. I'm
YouTube,
a little
Algo Lover, CL just broke higher, which allows squeeze higher face with rolling eyes.
Could be. I could would have actually have gotten 50. I don't know. I forget where I got out at. Anyways, I thought that I didn't think that was going to be the low, but what it could have. I don't want to manage trades in both instruments. And every time that I do a trade in the E-mini like that, though, it feels really good because it's like, you know, I did all that. And even with kind of, I don't think the Algo Lover was trying to be like a naysayer necessarily, but I kind of felt like it was like he's saying, don't take it long here, but it worked. It was a great trade. I really liked it. Yeah? You like that trade? I liked that trade. Well, I'm getting a signal here in the 10-year that they're going to stop here for a moment. They might reverse a little bit again. Well, he said, so here's the thing is Algo Lover.
YouTube, Algo Lover, ZN,
Yeah.
if buyers hold their pullback above 130.075, then 130.295 target. If 130.075 breaks first, then anticipate a deeper pullback. Nerd face remains valid so far, face with rolling eyes.
So, so here's, if looking at it from a news perspective, if you get a piece of news and you get a move that's, you know, is based off of that piece of news, and then another piece of news comes out the next day that negates that first piece of news, then you should expect to see that first move completely retrace. So if that is what is happening today, and I'm not so sure that we can confidently say that that's what's happening, because clearly some different people have different interpretations of what that piece of news was, just based on the order flow that we saw there in the E-mini so far. But if that is true, that 0.7 is extremely likely to break, because they're going to push back to these volumes at like 0.2 130 even. And they could even potentially go lower than that, but I don't know. We'll see. I would be super, super cautious here.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, new level at 12 in ZB.
Good deal, Uzi. Where do you? So you caught that short, right? What? Have you just been short from 26 the whole time? Fox News legal analyst: Trump already confessed a crime. It's not a crime. It's not. They're wrong. You'll see. Well, we'll play this out, but I feel pretty confident right now that with just
YouTube,
what we know.
Uzi Knesset, look, I'ma be honest with you.
No, Uzi, tell me that you didn't. You're gonna tell me something that's gonna make me unhappy. Oh, I'm gonna feel bad for you. Am I? No, I want to hear that you guys did well.
YouTube,
I ain't done
Uzi
shit.
Knesset, I ain't done shit yet, lol.
You know what, Uzi, you're probably in aggregate, it's the right choice. Because, like, honestly, okay, so I made the E-mini trade. That was cool. Okay? That was a cool trade. Let's just ignore that for a second. Everything else that I did in ZN came out to one tick. Actually, probably negative when you consider the commissions, right? Now, I could have done better. There's things that I could, but you can just see there, even if you have an awesome read, because I felt like I had an awesome read through that action. Sometimes sometimes it still doesn't work out. And I'm kind of a proponent of like swinging for it, because when they move like that, you can just get 8 ticks, and it's just because that's as far as they're going, and you don't even necessarily have to have a read. You just have to know the market's going crazy and the current direction is up, and you just go with it. And you do it enough times, you can get like 1 to 4 risk reward with them, so it's worth it. But it is going to chop around a lot. It's not like it's a bad idea to just sit on your hands, especially with political
YouTube,
news.
Uzi Knesset got sidetracked.
I got you.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. I have my levels, new ones form throughout the day, then they test, and finally something happens. 26 was a huge buy order. Tested up, down, and I just kinda.
Yeah. Well, when we were sitting there, let's go back. So it was around 8 o'clock that they released it, right? And that was what caused this initial thing. See, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, the news really kind of messed up with your level, right? Because they bought there, and it was right at 26. So you would think that it was a buy, but then they came back
Uzi
and dashed
Knesset.
it through
You're
it.
right though, I could have played that with tight stops, got chopped up a bit and ultimately banked.
But see, if you had played it, then what would have happened? You would have gone long, and maybe you got in here. I don't know what your target is, but maybe you get in somewhere in through here and you got stopped out. So you take 1 stop, and I don't know what your stop is, but let's just say it's 2. And then you would come down in here and you would take a sell, right? And then
YouTube,
eventually
Algo
you'd
Lover, Seth, certainly all participants are coming and going. I'm sharing higher probability levels of where this algo will trade. Okay hand.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe the price levels matter, but the thing that I disagree with, respectfully disagree with, is the direction. I think that news is positive for the E-mini. It certainly was negative for Treasuries. Very, very negative for Treasuries. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that piece of news makes us much more likely to move up in ES.
YouTube, Algo Lover, where is ZN? Thinking face.
What do you mean? Oh, well, they're at 13, right? But you're saying 07.5. Like, based on what I think you're telling
YouTube,
me.
Uzi Knesset. Yeah, direction is unpredictable. Volume profile levels for me are effectively just boundaries.
Yeah.
Big execution is what matters throughout the day.
Yeah, totally I agree. So look, there's a down signal right there. Oh, I'm not going to get filled on it. Yeah. I should have just didn't see that fast enough. That was totally a trade that you could have caught. Okay. So let's just pretend that we're short, okay? That one, I can't read anything from that. I think that there's still a good chance that you get this right here, this 10.5, so you could get 4. And maybe even the 8.5. We'll see. So the signal, for those of you that aren't as familiar, if you get down to the low of the day and there's a huge iceberg on the offer, they're likely to go through and make a new low. Because a lot of people see that as a sign of weakness in the move. There's
YouTube,
so many.
Uzi Knesset. Now 12 broke and any new longs in that buy mess are getting scared.
Yep. A lot of people think, well, 4,000 were willing to buy through at that 13, and they were able to make it through that iceberg, and that might mean that we might reverse and start moving up. But no, it's not.
YouTube, Algo Lover. I said pullback anticipated, ZN which is happening, then I'd watch to see if buyers hold, turn MKT above 130.075 or not, face with rolling eyes.
I mean, it sounds to me like what you're saying, though, is that we're more
YouTube,
likely than
Lucas,
not.
any news, fundamental causing this?
We're more likely than not to reverse at 7.5, and I'm saying we're probably going to go through it. We're probably going to go through it. I can't put a price on that, Of course, my own edge says, I couldn't trade based off of that, but we're likely to go through it. They might bounce off of it first and mess around, but I think by the end of the day, we will close below 07.5. That's my prediction. Any news fundamental? So the piece of news was that Donald Trump released the transcript of the
YouTube
Ukraine
algo
call.
lover, got ya. But we watch and see face with rolling eyes.
Sure. And conversely, on the other side, I think that what you were trying to say was that we were more likely to move down in the E-mini. But that's why I was saying, like, the edge that I'm looking for is indications of excess. And there was some
YouTube Lucas, and was it this bad? Face with tears of joy. YouTube algo lover, did you see them even dipping into this level before I said it? Thinking face.
Not quite sure what you mean by that. So you can see here on this upside, there was some excess. So I said, okay, so I can't get long there. And then when it came down, you saw it twice. You saw it twice. You saw it here and you saw it here. It was a good long.
YouTube
It worked
Uzi
exactly the
Knesset,
way we
there's
wanted
05.
it to. Okay. So we would have gotten 4 if we had caught that 12.5. I'm just so mad because, like, I'm saying that I'm not getting filled, but it was like I was talking, and so I didn't see the offer there.
YouTube algo lover, talking, ZN thinking face.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why. I still don't understand what you're saying. The reason they're selling is because Donald Trump released the transcript, and Democrats look stupid right now. That's why. That's why they're selling. It's because the market is saying, well, this whole impeachment thing might just blow over because there's nothing in that report that is going to get him impeached. That's why it's moving. They may actually, I'm going to have to go here soon, but maybe they will breach 07.5. Now, I wish I could go in.
YouTube Uzi Knesset, 62 is a hotspot for options open interest.
I wish these levels were like hard levels because I think there's a really, really good chance that they're going to trade past the 07.5. Like, there's a big order there, sure, but they're going to
YouTube Lucas,
that.
I see, makes sense.
They got
YouTube
things
Uzi
all
Knesset,
over.
I am curious if that'll mean anything.
There's this and this and this and this and this. Look, they're all set up for a trend day down.
YouTube
That's
algo
what it
lover,
looks like.
not talking reasons. Did you see it before I said it? Thinking face.
The level? No, certainly not. Well, no, I take that back. Actually, that 07.5 on both yesterday and the day before that, I think. We've been doing a lot of trade around 07.5, haven't we? Is that what you're referring to? Like they're going to do it again.
YouTube Lucas, this looks overreacted though, lol.
Well, I would agree with you, Lucas, except for that what happened yesterday was overreacted too. You know?
YouTube Lucas, haha. YouTube algo lover, you said, but it s so far down when I mentioned it face with tears of joy.
Oh yeah, but when I said that, I said it would take a significant piece of news for us to move there within my time frame, right? Significant piece of news happened, of course, right? So, well, it's not behaving quite like a level break here now.
YouTube algo lover, okay face with tears of joy.
You're right.
YouTube ace trades, I'm getting a long signal at 2967.25 if it hits.
Really. I take that. This isn't behaving correct, so I'm going to dump out. I'm going to bail on this. No, go back up. Okay. I have really mixed feelings about this because it was like, I think it's failing, and then all of a sudden it recovered, and now it's kind of like, is it going to keep going or not? I don't know. Hungary's Matalski blames Euro for years of disruptive events. Thank you. I agree.
YouTube, Lucas, Seth, at this levels we almost erased all yesterday's up move.
Yeah. Well, no, not quite. Well, in the Treasury, well, not quite, right? I still have this up. I'm sorry. You see,
YouTube, Algo Lover, posted before your news down finger. YouTube, Algo Lover, 1012 Algo Lover, ZN if buyers hold their pullback above 130.075, then 130.295 target, if 130.075 breaks first, then anticipate a deeper pullback nerd face.
No, sorry, Algo Lover, but that's nonsense. You said they hold their pullback. Well, okay, you said they hold their pullback. You said that at 10:12. The piece of news happened at 8. So, okay, so here's what's going on. Okay, there's a piece of news they started selling, and you say it's a pullback. So you're not right about anything yet, right?
YouTube, Algo Lover, and now here we are faced with rolling eyes.
Okay, but you're saying it's a pullback, and I said it's a sell. So here's the thing: if they hold 07.5, then you're right. But if they don't, and they trade down to like 02, then you're wrong. But so far, you're not actually right about anything. Just because you said there was a pullback. Well, look, everybody can see that they're selling it, right? So that's not particularly interesting to me.
YouTube, Lucas, we could fall towards 040, which was yesterday's high before MKT open.
Exactly, Lucas. Exactly. And there was overnight volume at around 130 as well. And there's a naked point of control. Well, not a naked point of control.
YouTube, Algo Lover, same thing, buddy, thinking face.
But there was a point of control at 04.5. Okay. But I'm just saying, if your call is that we're going to move down because of your algo, I'm just kind of like whatever. It doesn't matter to me because I know that it's going down because the news, and we know how to interpret the news. But
YouTube, Algo Lover, we CLD do anything that's a given in markets, but thinking face.
Sure. But if it holds 07.5, okay, then we're sitting there and saying, okay, whatever this edge that he's looking at is incredibly strong. But I say they're not going to hold it. If they get down there, they're not going to hold it. At that point, it's a trend down day. And they're going to retrace the whole move. That's just what you should expect to see given the news. Now, there's a possibility here that another piece of news comes out that cancels all of this out. And at that point, then I say that nobody was proven right or wrong because something came out and canceled it. Could totally happen. Nancy Pelosi could come out and say, well, see, this transcript proves that he lied.
YouTube, Algo Lover, then why did you dispute it when I said it? And Uzi also laughed at the response, thinking face.
Because you're saying that it's because... Then why did you dispute it when I said it? And Uzi also laughed at the response. I said, you're going to sell. Because when I'm reading that, you're saying that the longer time frame is still up. This is where I have a problem with it. Is you're saying this is just a pullback. We're likely to continue moving up. You could possibly buy it at 07.5 and we'll move higher. And I say, no. You're gonna have to have more news. U.S. President Trump says there is no pressure whatsoever against Ukraine in his call. Trump says the impeachment inquiry is a disgraceful thing. So he's still speaking. They took me out. Hey, it didn't work. It's okay, though. We still made money. Still made $30, in fact. I'm happy about it. Bill O'Reilly. Okay. I digested the call between President Trump and Ukraine President Zelensky, and I can see no constitutional violation, not even close, as for Mr. Trump violation.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset.
Electional
I laughed about
integrity.
the too far thing. Nothing is ever too far when it comes to the market screwing people in the opposite direction, lol.
Sure. No, oh, it's just I don't remember what time that was, but that was before the news hit, right? That was when it was like 8 o'clock, and I was like, well, for it to go down there in the next 30 minutes, it would really take something else, right? In fact, even now, because I've stayed longer than I would normally want to
YouTube,
be
Lucas,
here anyways.
I think he let them get all railed up and then released the transcript to make them look like fools.
Yeah, I think he totally did. Look, of course, as soon as it stops me out, then it goes. Lame.
YouTube, algo lover. No, I said anticipate a pullback into these levels, then watch Seth face with rolling eyes did not guarantee that they hold okay hand.
At what time did you say that? Because I made money from longs at some point.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. If I sold the market right now with no stop loss, it'd legitimately move enough to drain my equity in reverse lol.
So there's 07. Oh, well, there's 08.
YouTube, Ace Trades. I love
We're
it
gonna
when my
wait.
president can tweet and stop me out.
Jeez. Did he? I don't think he tweeted. I think that he just might have said something on the podium. President Trump says a trade deal with China could happen sooner than you
YouTube,
think.
Lucas, lol, Uzi, true. You know saying markets can keep you rational.
I want to buy it. I'm so pissed that trade stopped me out and then it went. Oh my gosh. Talk about bad luck. If I had gotten the long out of it, because it seems to be based on something Trump was saying, I would consider myself lucky.
YouTube,
but
Uzi Knesset, yup lol. YouTube, Uzi Knesset, I'm still pissed about 26 haha.
man.
YouTube, algo lover. Here's a test of
Yeah, it's not
ZN130075. Will it hold?
It's not
Never
holding.
know, but we watch to see face with rolling eyes.
It's funny because you say that. Listen, Algo Lover. You were wrong.
YouTube,
07
Ace
half
Trades at Lucas, yes, that is
was
true. But
not
then you add
nothing.
an irrational president. Lol, what a world we live in.
It was nothing. Let me have my moment. I know I'm an asshole. Listen, I still like you, Algo Lover. Okay. But I'm just saying, I said it's not gonna hold. How did I know that? Because the news. Look, you can just fucking buy this. Oh my fucking wow. What the hell? Wow. I'm so mad. I could try buying it maybe somewhere in here. Okay. Look, they went all the way back to 130 even. It's funny, the price level that I was looking at, 130, they stopped there. I don't have anything. What's below that? So the next one below that is 27.5. Okay. But listen, I'm just saying, you said that that the probability is up and you're going to have a pullback there and then we'll see. And I said that's not going to hold. I was right. So let me enjoy it. But I was totally fucking right. Without question. If they get down there, there's no way that they're going to hold it. Like, they just blew right through that, man. That was nuts. And I'm still not quite sure what's going on, to be honest. Because Donald Trump said a deal with China might be sooner than you think. Is that what they're reacting to? That doesn't seem to me to justify what they just did, but I mean, you can't deny the order flow that we just saw there was pretty wild, right? That was the one I was not. I mean, I was way too scared to be doing anything. In fact, I'm still too scared to be doing anything here. But you know, when we're down there, when it starts getting like that, there's a really good chance of a good reversal. So that's the difference. I don't care to be right. Listen, you bring up a good point, right? Because they're saying it's being right. You don't want to be. If you're concerned about being right, that can really screw with your trading, right? But my contention is everybody likes being right. Everybody wants to be right. And the sooner you admit that to yourself, the better able you're going to be able to deal with the fact that you're going to cling on to something, you know? Ooh, 4.5. Yeah. The mini's telling me I can't do anything here. It was fun, I must admit. I wish I was short. That's where was I? Where did I take that one? 10. 10. God. Oh my gosh. And I said it's not acting correct, so I got out of it. Well, did it come back up? It did. It came back up a little bit. So I was reading the temporary action correctly, but then this whole thing happened, and how can you predict that? I don't know, man. I mean, I thought that, here's the thing, I didn't think that 07.5 was going to hold, but I didn't know that Donald Trump was going to say something that was going to move markets that quickly. We're either making or losing money. Well, technically, I made $28. And I could have made a lot more if I was just trading treasuries today, but you know, I didn't necessarily put all of the orders there in sim because I was more concerned about ES and so forth. So I would have liked to have known, if I had been paying more attention, would I have been able to sell the one at 13 and hold on to that? I mean, man, if I had held on to that, that would have been my best trade ever. But now we kind of run into this thing. Here's my longer term view. Here's how I tend to look at them. I look for places that we traded a lot of volume. I look for pivots, and I look for single prints. Okay. So here, starting at 129.29 is single prints. So, and then there was also the bottom of the volume profile at 130. Okay. So that's why that ends up being a significant point. So the next test is 29 and then 27. Capiche? But it's uncertain for me. Like, I knew if we traded 07.5, I was going to say it pretty likely for us to trade through it. I suppose you could say that because we did it as big news was happening, that maybe it doesn't even count anyways. But okay, now that it's bounced off of that, I have no way of telling how far back it's going to bounce and if it's going to go for a new low or what. It's just the flow. But longer term, you know, maybe we could push to this naked point of control at 129.17. You could sail on your personal boat back and forth. Ace, that last trade that you gave us was a really awesome trade, or it could have been a really awesome trade, and it just didn't work out. And I'm very disappointed. we could have that could have been a good trade. I could have been in. Good news is that the trade that I saw on my own was awesome, and I made $40 off that one, and then I gave 12 back. Okay, cool. Happens. But it was right. Is just they went past the stop. Man. Oh, Donald Trump tweeted something. Democrats wrote to the Ukrainian government in May 2018, urging it to continue investigations into President Donald Trump's alleged collusion with Russia in the 2016 presidential election. Collusion later found to not exist. The Ace Trade says, I agree. I blame the commander-in-chief. Yeah. But I mean, if we had made money off of it, we wouldn't necessarily have made money off of it without the commander-in-chief either. So it was really probably the market makers to blame here, but I'm okay with blaming it on Donald Trump. That certainly makes, Donald Trump is certainly a better, more identifiable target that I can direct my ire towards. Bombshell or letdown. White House releases Zelensky transcript. So, we've just retraced that whole thing. So here's the question. He said a trade deal with China might happen sooner than we might think. I hear that, and that to me is not news. Obviously, the Twitter robots disagree. So, does it make sense that for that whole move to have retraced? Sure, and it did. Yeah, and Hella Climax, totally. Did I mention that already? But when, like I said, when it gets crazy, there's a good chance of a significant reversal. Sure enough. Like this whole thing down here is basically like everybody saw that and went short, and then it came back up, and because they're pulling the liquidity, it can pull back. It can actually end up pulling back further than the original trade. And then everybody getting stopped out. I mean, you just look at the volume, man. Like they didn't even have to come back all of that much in volume to stop everybody out. She climaxed so hard I heard the screams. Oh man. Yeah, the other thing I regret is when I'm sitting there like, there's no way that's gonna hold. Why didn't I just click that? I'm being dumb. This is where I do have the ego, right? I missed some trades in there because of the ego. I would hope that if I was taking live ZN trades that I would be a bit more reserved and focused, but I digress. That could have been a $200 trade. Okay, you know what? It's time for me to go. Why do I still have that chart up? Oh man, I wonder how high this is going to go back. They're going to go back all the way to like 11.5, 13. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. It was a good day. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.